Hi friends, it's Kylie. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel today. I'm sharing a new layout I've created for the Hip Kip Club, and I'm using the August 2019 main kit and the August 2019 cardstock kit. Now, I had an assignment for today, and that was to create a fall themed layout and to show clever ways of using these gorgeous frames from Pretty Little Studio. When I first opened this packet of frames, I was more or less like a moth to the flame, and I straight away was drawn to the beautiful gold metallic shimmery frames that you see there that I've pulled out, and they had a gorgeous little cluster of flowers included on the frames. And I thought about it, and I was going to back these frames with some paper and maybe some word phrases, but then I actually decided I thought they would look really nice as a background to support my photo on the white cardstock. So I took this paper from the collection. This is actually one of Paige Evans's papers from the Truly Grateful collection, which is a lovely collection. And I saw these zigzag lines and instantly thought, wow, these would make a great border piece or feature piece. So I trimmed down this first section, and I mainly wanted to have the pinks and that mustardy gold colour that you see me trimming away now. So I cut away any of the brighter colours and just stuck to that colour theme. And I just fussy cut around that carefully. It had a lovely scalloped edge on it, so when I placed it over my white background, I thought it looked like it had a lovely doily edge to it. I was only going to use the one, but when I saw how lovely it looked, I decided to cut a smaller piece. And just doing the same thing, I cut away any of the bolder colour choices, and I've just fussy cut away the softer pink and the gold. And they're completely different widths and different style, these borders, but that's one thing I like to always do. I don't necessarily like to have everything perfectly even and symmetrical. I like to have things that, you know, are maybe different or a little bit uneven. So you can see I've put the more narrow width to the right of my page, and I'm going to adhere this thicker section to the left of my page. Now, I normally like to use double-sided tape. I do have one of those large guns that unwind the tape, but I can't get it to work at the moment. So I'm just using a roll of double-sided tape, and I have used a little bit of a strong bond glue just on those pointy edges, just to make sure they don't lift up from my page. The reason I normally like to use the double-sided tape is for the simple fact it doesn't tend to make my paper warp as much. Sometimes glue can buckle ever so slightly, so with the double-sided tape I just find it sits nice and flat to my background page. So once it was all in place, you can see just going through there, and I'm just adding any little extra pieces of glue. Now the photo I'm using, this was of my daughter a few years ago. We'd spent the day at the park running through leaves, so I thought it was a nice photo considering my theme for today. And I've backed it with a lovely piece of paper from the kit, which is from Crepe Paper. It was sort of a muted mauve or purpley toned piece of paper. And I just started out by just popping my frames where I thought I'd like them to be behind my photo. And then I've gone through some of the embellishments and picked out some of the embellishments. And that pumpkin there, the Grateful Pumpkin, it's again from the Truly Grateful collection of Paige Evans. I really loved it. I thought it was perfect for my theme. So I've got some of the leaves there that came out of the Pretty Little Studio frame pack, and I'm just sort of getting an idea where I think I'd like things to sit. What caught my eye in this little packet from Pink Fresh Studios was one of the little buttons, I guess you'd call them, little flares. And when they're on a clear backing as such, I usually like to cut them out and just sit them on my layout to see how they're going to look. It's a good way of checking before you stick anything down permanently. And you'll see in a moment that I do the same thing with these puffy stickers that have come out of the Truly Grateful collection again from Paige Evans. I've just fussy cut them and I'm just sitting them on my layout to see how it's all going to look before I actually start gluing things down, because I change my mind a lot. So here I've just taken my pencil and I've lightly just marked where my photo is going to cover the frames, just so I know where to keep my frames in place once I glue them down. It just helps to keep them nice and neat and centered to where I had them lined up. And one thing I did forget to do when I was gluing down was to tuck in my little extra leaves, but it didn't really matter. You'll see here in a moment that I suddenly remembered, and I'll tuck them in behind before the glue sets. I've added some foam, adhesive foam, to the back of my photo. That's just so it will sit up from my background and it gives it a lovely dimensional effect rather than adhering everything flat to the background. And I'm doing the same here to some of my die cuts. I've added some of the adhesive foam to my little pumpkin, and it's at this stage I remember, oops, the leaves, so I'm going to go back in and just tuck those gorgeous little leaves in behind my frames, just for a little bit of extra colour. And since I'm working with a fall theme, an autumny theme, I thought the extra leaves went really well with these pretty little frames. And you can just see with my studio lights there just how sparkly those frames are. They're absolutely gorgeous. So I've tucked in my embellishments, and it's just a matter, you know, I may lay things out there at the beginning, but I quite often change my mind, which is all fun of scrapbooking. So I'm just basically working my way around to keep the balance and adding some of my die cuts with the foam tape. I really love this clock house that I've added to the top of my photo, and thought it went really well with the cute little bird that I add to the base of my photo that you'll see in a moment. So gluing my photo into place, using my frames as the guide to get everything centered, and you'll see here in a moment I add a little subtitle to the side of my photo which says Hello Sunshine. It again is from the Truly Grateful die cuts, and I've added some foam tape just to one side of the die cut and a little bit of glue for where it's going to sit over my photo. So because my photo is already risen with some foam, I didn't need to run that right along my die cut. And when it came to adding my cute little flare, my little heart flare, I took some yellow cotton that I had just in my craft stash. I thought it would be nice to have that little pop of colour and texture behind the flare. And even though there's adhesive foam to the back of that little flare, I still like to glue it down because I have had it in the past where some of those will still pop off my page. So by using the glue, it just helps to stop that from coming off, because there's nothing worse than putting your layout in its clear sleeve to go in its album and having something fall off your layout. So I'm adding my main title there to below my photo, So Loved. I've used the loved word from the Truly Grateful stickers, and I used so from, the so word came from the Pink Fresh Studio Alpha stickers, which were a lovely soft pink in a script font. So just to break up the colours and for a bit of interest, I used the different stickers. Now I'm adding another phrase to the top there, adore, before finishing off with a cute little butterfly from the Truly Grateful die cuts. And you'll see there I folded it up a little, and I've actually just added the glue through the centre of my butterfly. That way it gives more of a dimensional effect once it's added to my page. But that's pretty much my layout. I finished off by putting some plastic packaging over the top of the die cuts in my photo to protect them, and using some soft pink mist spray just from my craft stash. I've added just a few splotches to the top and bottom of my layout just to break up the white background and to add a little extra colour. But that's pretty much my layout today. I hope you've enjoyed seeing my video. You can find all of the supplies via the Hip Kip Club website. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.